Good morning, everyone. I hope that all of you can hear me in a good quality. My name is George Baroutas. I'm working for Praxi Network, a technology transfer office based in Greece. We are partners under SEREN 3 project, which is the National Contact Point Network for Secure Societies thematic area under Horizon 2020. And today we are going to jointly organize a webinar about social sciences and humanities in security, writing successful proposals with Net for Society NCP network, which is the network under Societal Challenge 6. It is our pleasure having Elena Mafia, national contact point from Italy, on SSH issues. Thank you for accepting this invitation, Elena. I would like just to give you a short overview of how this is going to proceed. Elena will give a detailed presentation about the topic of the webinar today. 5 minutes prior to the end of the presentation, we are going to activate the conversation box in the bottom left of your screen, and there you can write down your questions that possibly need clarification or anything that you would like to have additional information from Elena. After writing these questions, Elena will answer to all of them if this is possible. Thank you for registering in this event, in this webinar. Elena, the floor is yours, and please feel free to write down your notes and then writing them again in the conversation toolbox. Elena.
Okay, thank you very much, George. Now I need to share with you my presentation. And George, maybe you need to remove your PowerPoint. Okay, in a few minutes. Okay, perfect. So I think it's, well, let's start with the short presentation of myself. I am Elena Mafia, and I'm NCP for the Societal Challenge 6, as George said. And today I'd like to introduce you the integration of socioeconomic sciences and humanities, specifically in the security work program and in the security area. Now I think that you can see my presentation. So let's start. This is our agenda for today. We have a very short introduction on SSH integration. And then we have the reasons for the SSH integration. Why do we need to integrate SSH within our proposals? The SSH integration process within our proposal, a best practice example from a project already funded, and some data on the SSH integration in 2015. So let's start with SSH integration in a nutshell. And I really want to start with a very brief introduction on security. You are more expert in security than me, but I took a description of the security field, the definition of security taken from the Cambridge Dictionary. Security is protection of person, building, organization, or country against threats such as crime or attacks by foreign countries, and also the feeling of being confident in one's family and relationships. So protection against threats that can come from people, from human, and protection of human, of people, of persons, and also a feeling, the feeling of being confident. So something very near to people and to emotions and to what can be analyzed by socioeconomic sciences. So move on to the Horizon 2020 specific program. Specifically for security, the specific program says that the Union, its citizens, and its international partners are confronted with a range of security threats and challenges like crime and terrorism, again, crime and terrorism, and that we need to consider the users and finding civil security solutions for people, and that we need to consider human rights and the European citizens' individual rights and freedom. So again, we are talking about citizens, we are talking about crime and terrorism that come from people, we are talking about civil security solutions, so again about people, and about human rights and freedom. So we are very near to the socioeconomic sciences and humanities. Here we have the work program 2016-2017 of security and the specific priorities of research: critical infrastructure protection, disaster resilience, safeguarding and security society, border security and external security, fight against crime and terrorism, and digital security. How do the SSH disciplines are involved in this work program? For tackling terrorist ideas and beliefs, while respecting human rights and privacy, reducing the loss of human life, environmental and economic and material damage from natural and man-made disasters, civil protection to humanitarian relief, peacekeeping and post-crisis stabilization, conflict prevention, peace building and mediation, peace and justice. We are talking about these aspects of security that are so close to SSH. And my main goal today for you is to let you understand the relevance of the SSH integration for creating a very good proposals and a very good project that can be implemented directly in the society and that can be very, very positive for society and reach positive goals for society and for people. So let's start with the SSH integration and a short introduction on it. With the Framework Program 7, we had a specific team dedicated to socioeconomic sciences and humanities. Well, in Horizon 2020, we have no such-standing SSH program, but the socioeconomic sciences and humanities are fully integrated as a cross-cutting issues within all the program, within all Horizon 2020. Social sciences and humanities research will be fully integrated into each of the priorities of Horizon 2020 and each of its specific objectives, so that the SSH can make a contribution wherever they are needed. And as we have seen now, to tackle the challenges in the security field, we need to consider SSH. And this is a definition taken from the Horizon 2020 Framework Regulation. So, past versus present, we had a specific dedicated program to SSH with no reference to other disciplines and to disciplines working together in the evolution criteria. The disciplines used to work by themselves. Now we have SSH as a cross-cutting issue. Transdisciplinarity and interdisciplinarity are something so important for the Commission in Horizon 2020. You can find it in the template for the presentation, and they are so important, not only a formal aspect of the proposal, they are necessary and mandatory. So now, within Horizon 2020, the disciplines, different disciplines, must work together to reach the most positive results. And SSH is fully integrated in all Horizon 2020, starting from the first pillar, the excellent science, to societal challenges, through industrial leadership, and also to the cross-cutting issues, especially the focus areas. So, which are the reasons for integration, really, in practice? We have the STEM disciplines, that are science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and SSH disciplines, social sciences and humanities. They used to work in a separate way. Now, to tackle the complex societal issues that the world is facing now, in current days, we need to make them cooperate together to tackle these complex societal issues and challenges. So the integration of SSH has the main goal of finding solutions and products that are socially acceptable, directly applicable or marketable, and cost-effective. So, social acceptance and cost-effective are the most important aspects of the SSH integration, because STEM disciplines and SSH disciplines, when work together, can tackle complex societal issues and make the results of their research comfortable for society. So, which are the SSH aspects? For example, we can start with human behavior and choices, lifestyles and well-being, human geography and demographic trends, historical considerations, economic analysis and business models, legal, institutional and political frameworks, variations across social groups, cultural and anthropological aspects, and social innovation. These are only some examples of the SSH aspects of what we mean when we are talking about SSH. Why do I need to integrate SSH in my proposals? Which are the reasons for integration? First of all, because the socioeconomic sciences and humanities experts are called by the EC to contribute in framing the questions and issues to be tackled in Horizon 2020. So there are some SSH experts fully involved in the preparation phase of Horizon 2020. Then the topics are flagged for SSH by the European Commission. What does it mean? That the Commission points to SSH research as integral part of the expertise needed to properly address the issue outlined in the topic. There are some topics that are, for the Commission, considered as flagged for SSH. Flagged means that are dedicated or relevant for SSH. Then the proposal submitted under the topics considered as flagged for SSH by the European Commission should contain meaningful and integrated contributions from SSH researchers. And these aspects will be evaluated by the evaluators. The evaluation panels include SSH expertise. The evaluators, indeed, will evaluate how you have fully integrated the socioeconomic sciences and humanities within your proposal. Here we can see some examples taken from the evaluation summary report sent by the European Commission to the participants. And here we have a good practice, a good example. This is the criterion 1, the excellence. This criterion has been evaluated with the highest score, 5 out of 5. And in the section dedicated to the transdisciplinarity, to the transdisciplinarity, you have some comments and that I have highlighted for you. And here you can see that the evaluators say the concept is sound, it is based on a solid foundation, and includes several different scientific perspectives, social, psychological, and economic, and good links to other studies and research projects. There is a good focus on and involvement of end users, and the idea of producing tools for first-time users as well as law enforcement agencies is valuable. Transdisciplinary considerations are addressed very well. So, the fact that this proposal has a good SSH integration, considers in a right and a positive way the SSH disciplines, in particular social, psychological, and economical aspects and perspectives. And there is a good transdisciplinarity. This means that the proposal is positive in this section and is evaluated in a positive way. Here we have another good example, a good practice for the criterion 2, impact. Again, the highest score, 5 out of 5. And in the section below, you can read, the results will underpin socioeconomic programs, for example, access to appropriate care, social and health insurance, retirement age at national level and at EU level. It brings together a wide range of stakeholders, researchers from different disciplines, policymakers, healthcare professionals, social agents, and enterprises, among others. In the section of impact, the proposal explains in a good way how the impact on society are fully addressed through socioeconomic sciences and humanities. Indeed, this proposal will have a strong impact on SSH, on socioeconomic programs. So the SSH disciplines will be important to develop this type of results. And here the last good practice. For criterion 3, a good score, 4.5. And here you have the comment again, really in the section dedicated to the consortium as a whole. The consortium as a whole demonstrates scientific excellence as well as cross-national and transdisciplinary experience. Again, here we can see the importance of transdisciplinary considerations and experiences, and the evaluators find that the partners of this consortium are complementary, and in the expertise of the partners is a good example of transdisciplinarity, both between STEM disciplines and SSH disciplines. But there are also bad practices, and here we can see one of these. A bad practice for the criterion 1, excellence. In the section dedicated to transdisciplinary consideration, we can see that the comment, the transdisciplinary considerations related to legal questions are not sufficiently underlined. So the evaluators will notice if we are considering the SSH or not in each part of the template proposal. And here another bad practice. Again, for the excellence criterion, at the bottom of the slide, from the economic perspective, a more detailed view on the possibilities of inducing demand and changing the view of patients on the availability of services was not sufficiently provided. The argumentation about efficiency and cost-effectiveness of the proposed model is not represented in a sufficiently detailed manner. So again, the evaluators evaluate the lack of SSH integration, the lack of economic perspective. Economic perspective is something from the SSH discipline. So this is something that the evaluators will consider during the evaluation process. Let's move on to the SSH integration process. Now we have understood that the what the SSH integration is, why the SSH integration is so important and relevant. Now we can move on to the SSH integration process. How can we integrate the socioeconomic sciences and humanities within our proposal? This is the full integration process, starting with the first phase, topic analysis, to the second phase, identification of SSH terminology, third phase, identify the relevant disciplines and find the right partners, and the fourth phase, integrate SSH in your proposals, in each part of your proposal, activities, budget, and so on. Let's start with the first phase, the topic analysis. You need to understand if the topic that you are reading, that you are considering for the proposal, is a topic flagged or not flagged for SSH. When you analyze the topic, you need to be aware that it can be SSH flagged topic, and specifically dedicated or relevant. Topics that are dedicated to socioeconomic sciences and humanities. These topics and the solutions related to the topic rely on knowledge and input from SSH researchers and practitioners. And the consortia submitting proposals will mainly consist of partners from various SSH disciplines. So this is a topic fully dedicated to SSH. But there are also the topics relevant for SSH, with an SSH component. And in this case, you need to consider multidisciplinarity. The topic will be multidisciplinary. And in particular, the solution for the topic require knowledge and input from both socioeconomic sciences and humanities and STEM disciplines, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And the consortia submitting proposals will need to include both STEM and SSH partners. So these two types of topics are the two types of topic for the SSH flag topic. An SSH flag topic can be or dedicated or relevant. And you can find this type of topics within your work program. How to assign the SSH flag to topics in work program 2016-2017? To assign the SSH flag, you have to answer yes or no to these two key questions. The SSH terminology and research questions, examples provided by the work program, include or not in the scope section of the topic an SSH terminology? And will the consortium require SSH partners to adequately and comprehensively address the issue at stake? So, if we find an SSH terminology within the topic, and if we consider that to tackle the challenge of the topic, we need to involve in our consortium also SSH partners, we are in front of an SSH flag topic. The second step, identification of SSH terminology. To understand if a topic is flagged or not for SSH, we need to analyze the terminology. Here we have an example of a topic taken from the work program 2016-2017 of security, and this topic is a topic analyzed, and we are looking for SSH terminology. And in bold, I don't know if you can see it, probably not, because it's not so clear, it's very small, but I put in bold some terminology that I consider that is SSH relevant. And in particular, in the box at your right, you can see that the identified SSH terminology of this topic is, for example, societal and political acceptance, human behavior, legal frameworks, societal issues, and risk of discrimination. These are words and concepts used within this topic. And when you are reading the topic and you find this terminology, you can understand that this is an SSH terminology. And you can choose if the topic is relevant or dedicated. In this case, the terminology used for the topic is both SSH and STEM. So the topic is relevant for SSH, not fully dedicated to SSH. So the topic is relevant and so involves both SSH and STEM disciplines. But I think that your question can be, do we need to do this work alone? Terminology of SSH integration found in security sector in 2017. In this slide, you have the main words and sentences used within the security work program for topics 2017 with a deadline in 2017 in August. This is the terminology mostly used related to SSH aspects. Societal and political acceptance of technologies, human behavior, legal frameworks, social connections, messages and preferences of users, acceptability by the society, right to data portability, the right to be forgotten, data protection, impact assessments, and the various implementations of the principle of accountability. Then we have safeguarding the data and privacy of citizens, cost-effective and user-friendly verification methods, identify and address the societal dimensions, fundamental rights, increase trust and confidence in the digital single market. This terminology is related for SSH. And again, going back to my question, is there a document where I can find a selection of all the SSH flag topics, both dedicated and relevant? Yes, there is, and this is the opportunities document published by Net4 Society, the network of the NCPs for the Societal Challenge 6. In this document, you will find all the topics that are flagged for SSH in Horizon 2020. And for all Horizon 2020, so for each pillar of the program. So also for the Societal Challenges pillar, and here you have a section dedicated to security, that is this one, and where you can find all the opportunities for SSH researchers and all the topics that are flagged for SSH within the security work program. And this document is updated on an annual basis. And here you have the section dedicated to the topics in 2017, so with a deadline in August. And here you have also the link to find the document. So all this work of finding SSH terminology is already done by this document. Which are the SSH flag topics in Societal Challenge 7 in 2017? These are the topics. We have one dedicated topic, human factor for the prevention, investigation and mitigation of criminal and terrorist acts. In this topic, the consortium will be mostly SSH, and also the contributions and the terminology of the topic will be only SSH. Then we have two relevant topics, acceptance of no-gate crossing point solutions, and privacy, data protection, and digital identities. These are two relevant topics, so in these two topics, we will need to consider both STEM and SSH terminologies, and both STEM and SSH partners. And then we have some four topics with a minor relevance, where you can see some piece of SSH terminology, but the topic cannot be considered as relevant for SSH. All this information are available within the document, within the opportunities document. The third step of the SSH integration process is the identification of the relevant disciplines and finding the right partners. So let's start with the identification of relevant disciplines. We have identified the SSH terminology so far. Now, starting from the SSH terminology, we need to identify the right disciplines to involve in our project. Starting with the terminology that we selected from the previous topic, we see societal and political acceptance, human behavior, legal frameworks, societal issues, and the risk of discrimination. Which are the disciplines related to this terminology? Psychology, first of all, because we are talking about human behavior. Sociology, we are talking about societal acceptance. Anthropology, social aspects. Human rights, because we are talking about legal frameworks and the risk of discrimination. And also education, because when we are talking about risk of discrimination, we are talking about both psychology, sociology, and education. So now we can see starting from the terminology, we can identify the right disciplines and then the right partner. How can I find the right partner? If I'm a researcher from the STEM field and I want to coordinate a proposal within the security work program, but I'm in front of an SSH flag topic, so I know that I need to consider and to involve an SSH partner. Where can I find this partner? First of all, you need to visit the 2 pages of the NCP networks, both SEREN free project and Net for Society project. The reason is that if you are a researcher from the security field and you need an SSH researcher, you can find on the Net for Society website, you can find the research directory. The research directory is a database of profiles for SSH people, researchers, that can be useful for you to find a relevant partner. You can search with using keywords, using terminology, and selecting by country, and so on. In different ways, you can do your research at the best way, and you can use it to find the right partner for SSH discipline. And then you can, of course, ask your NCP both for Societal Challenge 7 and Societal Challenge 6. Then, if you are a researcher from the Socioeconomic Sciences and Humanities fields, and you are interested in a security topic, you can use the database provided by the network of the NCPs for security, the SEREN, Security Research Map. Again, a database where you can search for the right people. And again, you can ask your NCPs. There are many other ways to find the right partner. Attending the right events, for example. If you are an SSH researcher, you need and interested in a topic within the security work program, you need to attend the relevant events for the security field. And vice versa, if you are a researcher coming from STEM disciplines, interested in coordinating, for example, a security proposal, but you need to consider also SSH partners, you need to attend the right forum, the right conferences to find the right people. Moving on to the fourth step, integrate SSH in your proposal. You need to integrate SSH in all the parts of your proposal: excellence, impact, and implementation. And within the implementation, not only within the consortium as a whole part, but within the work packages description, the task, the description of activities, within the abstract, and within the deliverables. But you need also to integrate SSH not only in the proposal, but also in the consortium. You need to cover all the disciplines identified in the topic, including the right partners. And then, the budget. You need to assign an adequate budget to both STEM and SSH partners. This is also a very important point, because SSH and STEM partners are at the same level if we are talking about an SSH flag topic. So you need to consider both in the same way. Here you can see the template, the proposal template, and the section where you need to include the SSH aspects. For the excellence, there is the part dedicated to the concept and methodology, and in particular, the part dedicated to transdisciplinary considerations. Indeed, you need to identify any transdisciplinary consideration, and where relevant, use of stakeholder knowledge to express and to explain how you are considering within the excellence, within the concept and methodology of your proposal, the SSH disciplines and contribution. Then in the impact, in the expected impact section, you need to explain and to answer to the expected impact of the topic with your considerations involving also the SSH considerations, because to have a very positive impact on society, as we have seen, you need to consider the SSH. And this is the section where you need to explain this. Then, the third part, the implementation. In the consortium as a whole, you need to explain how the consortium is complementary and bring together the necessary expertise. So, each partner is necessary for your proposal, both STEM and SSH partners. And this is the section where you need to explain this. You can find all this information on the evaluation procedure within the online manual on the participant portal. You have a section in the online manual that is fully dedicated to the evaluation process of the SSH integration. And this section will explain how to address and evaluate the SSH integration of your proposal. You will find in this section the same information that I'm explaining to you today. Let's see a best practice example of SSH integration in security. An example is the Unity project. This project is a project that is a best practice for SSH integration. It's funded under the Societal Challenge 7, under the call Fight Against Crime and Terrorism, and under the topic Enhancing Cooperation Between Law and Enforcement Agencies and Citizens, Community Policing. This is a research and innovation action, and the project is Unity, strengthening the connection between police and communities to maximize the safety and security of all citizens. This is the home page dedicated to the project. As you can see in the description, I really hope that you can read the text, because it's very interesting to see how this project fully integrates the SSH. It's something so easy, it seems. Here you have both STEM and SSH. You have SSH consideration. Indeed, you can read communities, various social, cultural, geographic, and ethnic differences of the communities in the world. So this is something that can be considered as an SSH consideration, because social, cultural, geographic, and ethnic differences are something that can be studied only by SSH researchers. Again, you need to consider need for safety and security. Again, the security of people, human rights, and the community at the center, the user, the final user at the center of the research. So when you are considering the users, you are considering SSH disciplines. Indeed, we can read the citizen focused. There is a focus fully on the citizens and on the users. We are talking about engagement and cooperation between several stakeholders. But to engage people, you need to involve SSH disciplines again. So this is a project that explains, starting with the home page of the website, the full integration process and the full integration within the proposal and within the research. Indeed, these are the work packages of the project. Several work packages of this project, Unity, include or are dedicated to SSH disciplines. We have the work package 1, that is project management, that is not an SSH discipline. The work package 2, ethical, legal, and community issues, is something related to SSH. And also the work package 3, policing and community requirements and best effective practices. And also the work package 4, community policing delivery frameworks. And also the work package 6, Unity integration framework. Because in the work package 2, it's very clear the relevance for SSH, the integration of SSH, because it's a work package dedicated to SSH aspects, ethical, legal, and community. But also the work package 4 and the work package 5, community policy and delivery framework and Unity integration framework, are very near to SSH, because you are involving the community, the users, the citizens. And to do this, you need to consider SSH disciplines and researchers and expertise, like psychology, sociology, anthropology. This is the consortium of this project. And here there is the list of SSH disciplines from the consortium. Policy and crime, public safety management, policy and research, social and economic impact at local, national, and international level, law enforcement, migration, harmonization, and implementation of the legislation in the areas of migration, border control and police cooperation, effective policies and strategies in the area of crime prevention. These are the SSH disciplines for the consortium. This consortium integrates both STEM and SSH disciplines. Some data on SSH integration in 2015. So we have seen the full integration process for SSH, starting with the first phase to the last phase, the full integration within the proposal. Now we can see with some data on SSH integration in 2015 how this process has been developed during the first years of Horizon 2020. In January, the European Commission published the monitoring report 2015 on social sciences and humanities integration within Horizon 2020. And here you can see the data coming from the SSH integration in 2015. In 2015, 197 million euro have been awarded to SSH partners out of a total of 888 million. So, it's something quite good. 27% of consortia partners in projects funded under SSH flag topics have SSH expertise and contributed to the projects. In Work Program 2016 and 2017, 41% of cool topics are flagged for SSH, compared to 37% in 2014 and 2015. So we are seeing, we are facing an improvement within the integration of SSH. The quality of integration of the SSH disciplines in Work Program 2016-2017 has been further improved. For example, improved topic descriptions with appropriate SSH wording, improved variety of SSH disciplines, and so on. So, which is the indicator used by the Commission to carry out this evaluation? The indicator that the Commission used aggregates the performance of each project along 4 dimensions and associated thresholds assessing whether there are 4 aspects considered by the Commission: the share of SSH partners, the budget going to SSH, person month by SSH partners, and contribution from SSH came from at least 2 distinct SSH disciplines. These 4 dimensions compose the indicator to evaluate the SSH integration within Horizon 2020. The first 3 aspects are considered both in a double scenario, using a threshold of 10% and a threshold of 20%. The share of SSH partners is higher than 10% and higher than 20%. The budget going to SSH partners is higher than 10% and also 20%. Person month by SSH partners are higher than 10% and 20%. This idea of the Commission is to have a more complex, a more integrated picture of the SSH integration, considering different level of integration and different thresholds. So we have some data using 10% and we have other data using 20%. The quality of SSH integration for each project can be known. No threshold was met for any of the 4 dimensions. Weak, threshold met for only 1 dimension. Fair, the threshold met for 2 or 3 dimensions. And good, the threshold met for all 4 dimensions. So, let's see some data from 2015. The integration of SSH in 2015. The SSH flag topics in 2015 are this one. For the Societal Challenge 7, we see that we had in 2015 10 SSH flag topics. The first Societal Challenge with the highest number of SSH flag topic in 2015 was Energy, Societal Challenge 3. followed by Societal Challenge 2 with 10, and also Societal Challenge 7 with 10. The overall 37% of the topics of all Horizon 2020 in 2014 and 2015 were flagged for the SSH. Again, the integration of SSH in the 2015 work program. Here we have a comparison between the total number of topics and the number of SSH flagged topics. For Societal Challenge 7, we had 37 topics for all the work program and 10 topics dedicated to SSH, flagged for SSH. And this is a focus on security in 2015. The total number of topics, 37, and the number of SSH topics, 10. The 21% of all the topics for security was focused on SSH integration, both relevant and dedicated. And in the table at your right, you can read the expertise of SSH partners involved in security proposals. And you can see that political science is the highest discipline, with 57% of 57 experts involved in proposals funded by the Commission. Then we have sociology with 41, law with 34, and so on. So the discipline most represented in security in topics that are considered as flagged for SSH by the Commission is political science and public administration, with the 25% of experts of all the proposals funded. Here again, we have a focus in 2015 for security. We, considering the threshold of 10%, we have 9 projects funded that are good, so that met the 4 dimensions, all the 4 dimensions of the indicator for evaluating the SSH integration. 2 proposals funded that are fair, so they met 2 or 3 dimensions of the indicator, and that's it, considering the 10% threshold. When you are considering the 20% threshold, the proposals that are good are 8, the 73%. The proposals funded that are fair are 2, 18%, and only 1 proposal that is weak, 9%. And here you have the integration of SSH in the 2016-2017 work program. So for Societal Challenge 7, you have 30 topics within your work programs, and among these, 14 are flagged for SSH. So in 2016-2017, we can see an improvement of the SSH integration for security, because in 2014-2015, we had 37 total topics and only 10 topics that were considered as flagged for SSH. While in 2016-2017, we had 30 topics in total and 14, so the 50% of these flagged for SSH. So for you, if you are both NCP or researcher, the SSH integration for security is something that you must consider when you are providing assistance to clients or you are writing your proposal. So this is something relevant. And I hope that this presentation can help you in considering this and in putting it into practice. And stay informed. You can visit regularly our project, Net for Society, where you can find a lot of information on SSH integration. And I really hope that this presentation can be helpful for you. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Elena, very much for this really interesting and valuable, I think, presentation. We have so far 3 questions right now, so you can scroll down in the conversation toolbox from your side and you can check the questions that have been already been submitted by the participants.
Yes.
Regarding the circulation of the presentation, of course, it will be uploaded in both NCP Network's websites, so you can have access in this presentation if you want to from these websites. And after the finalization of this webinar, I'm going to send to you a very short feedback form. It would be great if you can just give 2 or 3 minutes to give your relevant answers. So, Elena, would you like to answer now some of these questions or all of them?
Of course, of course. So let's start with Jessica. Thank you for the presentation. Does this integration of SSH and STEM apply to all EU projects? No. There are some topics that are considered as flagged for SSH by the Commission. So in this case, you must consider the SSH integration in your proposal. The others don't foresee in a mandatory way that you consider the SSH integration. You can do it because it's an added value, but it's not mandatory. It's not something required by your topic. But within the opportunities document, you have the full list of the topics that are SSH flagged, so that consider the SSH as a fundamental part of them. So I think that there you can find a lot of information, but not all the projects. 3 out of 4 of projects funded under SSH topics did not have an SSH partner. Are SSH really an added value for SSH flag topics? So, yes, I know, and also the Commission knows, that the SSH integration is under improvement. And as you have seen in the first part of the presentation, the SSH integration is something very new for the Commission and for all researchers and for the framework program. So it's something that started in 2014, and the data that you have seen are for 2015. So only the second year of the SSH integration. So it's something that is under improvement, and in next years, also when we will have the final report on 2016 and 2017, we will be able to understand how the Commission has improved the SSH integration, writing in a better way the topics, for example, or publishing on the participant portal best guidance for the SSH integration for both STEM and SSH researchers, and also for us, for Net4 Society. It's something new that we started to deal with in 2014, and going on with the years, we are improving our tools to explain to researchers, both SSH and or not, and both SSH and STEM, that which can be the tools to integrate SSH within the proposals and within the consortium. So it's a process under improvement. And yeah, we know that some proposals were funded by the Commission also if they required SSH integration, if the topic required SSH integration, and also if they didn't include SSH integration. But these are something that the Commission is considering, and it's a matter of communication, of improving communication between different parts of the Commission and different panels of evaluators, and this is something under improvement. But yes, we know that the first data and results were not so positive. How, Piero? How do you consider the communication discipline? Is it relevant as part of the human-computer interaction and then as important human aspect? Do you think a communication expert, for example, a journalist, could be useful for this kind of project? Well, the communication as well as the project management is something that is not so clear for researchers. Very often it happens that the communication and dissemination work package is considered as SSH integration. And it's something that the coordinators say, well, we have the work package dedicated to communication and dissemination, so we have the SSH integration. It's not right, this approach. In the same way that for the project management, if you have, as all the proposals have a work package dedicated to project management, you are not involving SSH integration in your proposal. A different consideration is if we are talking about a specific journalist with a background for an SSH discipline, that can be also demographical changes or migration or refugee crisis or whatever. And in this case, you are involving an SSH partner or an SSH expertise within your proposal. When you're talking about communication and dissemination, you must pay a very big attention to the way in which you are explaining the communication, you are explaining the expertise that you are including in your consortium, and but please not consider the work package dedicated to communication as SSH integration. But of course, a journalist with the right background can be an SSH integration within your proposal. Okay, could you recommend any strategies to get SSH researchers into contact with the researchers from science and technology in light of encouraging Horizon 2020 participation? Yes, in the presentation you have seen the tools for partner search and the research database. The research database can be very useful to find the right expertise, because you can search using keywords or using a specific terminology that is the most relevant for you and for your proposal. But you need also, as I was saying before, you need also to attend the relevant events, to monitor both the website of the two projects, where you can find, and also the website of the Commission, where you can find all the relevant events in the area of both SSH and security, and to attend both of them, and to doing networking, the right networking, explaining what your real interest is. If you are a security researcher, that you are very interested in finding an SSH researcher, and vice versa. If you are an SSH researcher, you are so interested in participating not only in the Statal Challenge 6 topics, but also in the others, because you have this and this expertise. So this can be another way to improve the SSH integration for your proposal. And also attending brokerage events can be so relevant, especially for the topics that are considered as flagged for SSH. These are the two ways that I can suggest to you to start your networking and finding the right people. I'm very interested in your answer to this last question. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, so are there any other questions? In any case, you have my contact and you can reach me also through the SEREN free projects or the Net for Society projects, or directly to my email if you have any question. Okay.
If there is no other question. Okay. Elena, thank you very much. I think that your presentation and your answers in these last questions were really very important. As I told you before, all material will be uploaded in the relevant websites of the NCP networks, Net for Society and SEREN 3 projects. Of course, you can get in contact with the presenter Elena if you have any misunderstanding in the presentation and so on. But I would like just to let you know that the webinar was recorded. If you have any concern on sharing your names as they are indicated in the participants list, please let me know by an email in order to handle that. And thank you for registering and attending the event. Elena, thank you very much.
Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.